Hi guys, I wanted to talk today about forgiveness and 70 times 7 and what does that mean? So we hear all the time, you have to forgive someone 70 times 7. Well, it's kind of like, do I have to let that person injure me that many times and then forgive them that many times? And while yes, I do think if someone does repeatedly injure you, you do have to forgive them, but I don't think that's what that verse means. So, have you ever thought about a happy memory and you find yourself smiling? Or if you thought about a sad memory and you found yourself crying? Or, you've had a dream about someone and you woke up mad about it and you stay mad at them all day, right? Well, scientists have discovered that when you remember something, when you kind of relive that memory in your mind, to your brain, it's no different than if it's happening at that moment. Right? So if you're remembering that happy memory, your brain is experiencing that again, that moment again, like it's happening right now, which is so fascinating to me. So, and how many times have we heard someone say in regards to forgiveness, I can't forgive that person. I've tried. I can't forgive that wrong. It just doesn't work for me. I can't forgive and forget. All that sort of jazz, right? So, you can also have a thought where you think you've forgiven someone, right? And then you remember it and you're like, no, you still feel a certain way about it, You're still upset and you thought, well, I thought I was over it, but I guess I'm not. And so when you have that sort of mentality where it says, you're supposed to forgive someone 70 times 7, and you think, well, I tried to forgive that person and it just didn't work. Well, forgiveness is not a one and done kind of thing. It's a journey. It's a process, right? So for me, it made this kind of revelation sort of made forgiveness so much easier, and realizing that forgiveness is a journey. It's not a one and done thing. So bringing into where you remember something. So if someone has wronged you, or you feel like you need to forgive somebody about something, when you remember it, you might think, okay, I've prayed about this. I can forgive this person. I can move on. And then a little while later, you remember it again and you get upset again and you're like, okay, well, I'm not over this. So then you work on it and you think, okay, I'm over it. I can forgive this person and move on. Or maybe you tried it once and it didn't work and you thought, okay, I thought I forgave this person, but I didn't. So, oh well, they just can't be forgiven. But what happens is the Bible says you have to forgive someone 70 times 7. And, God knows how our minds are made. He knows that when we remember something, it's like the whole experience is happening again to us. We're experiencing that hurt just like it just happened. And so you have those flooding of emotions come back over you, right? But you have to forgive that person again and again and again for that same hurt, that same injury that they caused you. So it's a journey. It's a process. God knows that when we want to forgive someone, it's not always going to be, yes, you're forgiven and they can move on. It's you're going to have to forgive that person, sometimes every day or multiple times a day. Every time you think of it, you have to re-forgive that person. And so the other thing is, forgive and forget. And you might think, I don't want to forgive that, or I'll forgive that person, but I'm not going to forget it. Well, the important thing to forget it is so that you don't keep reliving that in your mind like it just happened. You don't keep opening that wound in your mind like the injury was just something that happened to you recently. And, people are like, oh, I can't forget that. And truly, there might be some things that the results of their infliction that, that hurt that you can't forget. You can't get over. However, there are things you can choose to forget. There are things that, somebody came up to me once and they're like, you know what? I am really sorry I did that to you X amount of years ago. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I had no recollection of it. Even when they reminded me, I totally had forgotten about it. and I was like, hey mom, this is a funny thing happened to me. Someone came into me and apologized for this. I don't remember that. And she's like, you don't remember that? I said, no, I don't remember that. But you know, when you forgive someone, it is possible to forget it. But the hard thing about forgetting is that sometimes it's like, you don't want to let that person off the hook or be injured by that person again, in that same way. So you're like, I can't forget it. I can't let this go. And so we carry around this memory like a lead blanket, right? And it just weighs us down. And the thing about lead is that it's toxic. And there is this historical figure who they made the Dracula stories out of. He was just this evil person, and he would found enjoyment in torturing people. And they found out that it was probably because he was poisoned because he drank out of a lead cup. Right? Same way with holding on to these injuries and these, you know, things that we hold on to that we just can't let go. It's like drinking out of that lead cup every time, and it poisons your body. It poisons your outlook on life. And it's not injuring the person who wronged you again. It's just letting them win and injure you on a daily basis. So forgetting does not mean you're opening yourself up to letting that person injure you again, because I believe you have discernment and you're going to remember, your brain is going to know, okay, you know, if someone tries to do that, you might have some walls or lights that go off and say, oh, you know, that might not be the best way to go. Or, you know, you might understand that you're not going to trust that person again, but it doesn't mean you're holding on to that slight or that injury that they inflicted on you. Right? You are forgetting it. You're choosing to forget it. And forgiveness can sometimes be so hard that you can't even form the words. So if you wake up every morning and you want to forgive someone, and sometimes you just can't even say, I forgive you, whether they're there or not, you know, you almost can't even think it, I forgive you. But just pray and ask God to give you the ability to heal and the ability to forgive. And then once you get to that point, every morning or every time that memory resurfaces, you have to say, I forgive you, because forgiveness is a journey. It's not just a one and done thing. Your brain will stop remembering the insult. You know, you speak positivity in your life, you speak things into existence. And I really believe that it's your mindset. You know, what you look for, you find. And if you look for that forgiveness, you can shed that lead blanket, that toxic poison in your life, and you can begin to heal. And forgiveness is for you. It's not really for the other person. Yes, the other person likes the forgiveness. They may want it, but you need it. You need to give forgiveness to the other person, just for your own body, for your own health. And you have to forgive them every time that memory resurfaces, every time that injury comes back into your mind and you think, I didn't forgive him. I'll forgive him again. And so that made forgiveness easier for me, because then I knew when I went to forgive somebody, it might not be over. You know, if I would thought, oh, you know what? I really thought I forgave that person, but I didn't. So, I failed. I just failed. So I'm not going to be able to forgive that person. No, it's forgiving them again and again and again for that one same injury. Because you'll have people who've been so injured, you're like, you know what, I can't forgive that person. I can't get over it. I've tried. So yes, they have tried to forgive that person, but every time that memory resurfaces, that injury comes back. So you just have to keep going at it and keep forgiving until it's true. Until that forgiveness becomes a part of you and you let it go. So there are things, you know, that I work on, like, you know, this person, I feel that they injured me. I can't think of anything offhand, but I know it's been there. But you just have to keep forgiving them. And you also have to be careful not to entertain those thoughts where they come in your mind, right? Because when you remember it, you can either choose to not think about it, say, I forgive you, and not think about it and keep going on your day. Or you can start marinating on that thought and think about it deeper and deeper and try and get into the nitty gritty of what happened. You're not letting yourself heal. You're not letting yourself forgive. So don't dwell on the injury. Don't dwell on the hurt. Just verbalize, I forgive you, and move on. Try and think of something else. You can train yourself to understand that forgiveness is a process, that you will get there. Don't give up after one time of saying, I tried it and it didn't work, because it's a journey. And that really helped me out a lot. So I know I've been talking for a little bit, but I hope that helps you out too. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.